Everyone, my name is Dr. John Daniel from Simi Psychological Group, and today we're going to be talking about some tips for reigniting the spark in your relationship as parents of young children, or any children, to be honest. It can be really hectic and overwhelming to be a parent and a wife or a husband and feel like you're able to manage the responsibilities to your children as well as to each other. Being a parent, especially these days, comes with so much pressure and added stress. There's taking the kids to doctor's appointments or extracurriculars or daycare or preschool or elementary school, um, shuttling them around, keeping them happy and healthy the best that we can, making sure they're fed and taken care of. And that's just the kid related stuff, not to mention taking care of the house and chores and bills and all the adult related stuff. And with all that on the plate, it's really hard to stay focused on our relationship as a married couple. And oftentimes, what we see is couples become so focused on what it is that needs to get done that they start to lose focus on each other. And when that happens, a lot of times we see couples report feeling more distant from each other, um, feeling less supported, less connected. And so, what we're focusing on today are some tips to help change that if that's happened, or prevent that from happening, or keep the healthy spark you have going with each other as parents. So, the first tip really involves a shift in mindset, possibly, meaning the recognizing the value for not just yourself, not just the couple, but for your whole family, especially the kids, when you prioritize your relationship as a couple. So, what we are conditioned to learn is the kids come first. Everything the kids need, that's where my energy and focus has to go. Kids come before me. And I happen to agree with that in a sense, but I guess my pitch is what kids need more than getting somewhere, getting homework done, or going to an appointment is to grow up in a house where mom and dad are connected and happy and communicating and affectionate to each other. And that creates an environment of security and warmth. And I can't think of a bigger thing that we can give to our kids than that. So, really prioritizing the relationship as a couple is perhaps the biggest thing you can do for your kids. And not to mention for your own happiness and life, and of course, the connection with you and your partner. So, with that kind of lens about the importance of working on your relationship as a couple, the rest of the tips can maybe be more easily followed because I know there's always practical concerns that get in the way of doing some of this stuff. So, tip number one, understanding the value of prioritizing your relationship as a couple. Tip number two is scheduling a consistent time away from the house, just you and your spouse. So that could be a weekly date night, maybe every other week if weekly is too hard, but a consistent time that's pre planned, predetermined that we're going to get out of this house together and go on a date. And why I keep saying predetermined and consistent is when we do things like, I hope we have time to figure it out this week. For all the other responsibilities that we talked about at the beginning, we can almost guarantee it's not going to happen. But when you know and you've scheduled that this time is for us, you guys are going to get out of the house. And that part might be stressful. But once you're gone, hopefully you're able to enjoy each other and leave the stress of home at home, or the stress of the day uh, at home, and be able to just enjoy each other. And it doesn't mean putting pressure on yourselves to create this perfect date or um, expensive dinner or fancy things to do. It's really just getting out together with the mindset of let's focus on each other. So, tip number two is a consistent night out of the house. Tip number three is you don't have to wait for that consistent night to come to spend time together. So, tip number three is disconnecting while you're at home. So, ideally, this can be done at least a little bit every day, if not periods throughout the week, where we're going to turn the TV off, we're going to put our phones down. Some couples maybe even read next to each other, but even that is basically the point we're trying to make here is proximity isn't the same as connection. So if I'm sitting on the couch next to my wife and we're watching TV, we're close in proximity, but my mind might be so far away from where hers is. And by turning off the distractors and turning off the things that kind of keep us focused on our own world, we're just making more space now at home to re-engage with our spouse and with our partner. Maybe that'll lead to more cuddling or kissing or sex. We'll get to sex in a minute. Or maybe it could just be doing an activity together, cooking a meal, but while the kids are not there, maybe they're asleep. Or doing a puzzle or playing a card game. Just a time to be present with each other consistently throughout the week. And that's doable on a day-to-day basis if we really make it, but even if not day-to-day, just as often as possible, recognizing the importance of that. So tip number three, disconnecting from the distractors at home and spending time with my spouse. Tip number four is really to look out for something that tends to sabotage all of our even best intentions to reconnect with our spouse, and that's resentment. So, tip number four is letting go of resentment. A lot of times, because of the distractions and the growing further and further distant over time, feelings of resentment grow within a relationship. And part of doing any of this is going to need to include letting go of that resentment, of starting over, of letting today be the first day of our relationship, getting to know each other again, kind of thing, rather than holding on to all the past feelings of anger or finger pointing or lack of support, going into it with the mindset of we'll see if my partner's really changed, can tend to sabotage the the feelings of reconnection that we're trying to pursue. So then, tip number five is making sex a part of that reconnection, right? Sex in a marriage is such an important way to feel connected. And it's also a great opportunity to let go of the stress of the day or the stress of the week or the financial stuff, the kids stuff, the resentment, the to really just have fun and enjoy each other and make things lighter and um, spend time just you and your spouse in this um, physical and emotional way of connecting that sex provides. And being able to communicate about sex, what you each like, what you're hoping for, what you want to pursue, can be an exciting place to to do some of what we've been talking about in terms of building that reconnection and to give yourself and your partner a place to disconnect from all of that stress and feel confident or wanted or desired and allow your spouse to feel those things as well. So, hope this has been helpful. Click the link to read more in detail about everything we talked about today. And of course, we're here to help. So, feel free to reach out for a free consultation. Thank you.